हरे कृष्णा। ओम अज्ञान तिमिरांधस्य ज्ञानांजन शलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले सुवयं रूपं कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। मैं घोर अज्ञान के अंधकार में उत्पन्न हुआ था और मेरे गुरु ने अपने ज्ञान रूपी प्रकाश से मेरी आंखें खोल दी। मैं उन गुरु को सादर दंडवत प्रणाम करती हूँ। जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णवों की जय। हरे कृष्णा। हरे कृष्णा। The second chapter of Bhagavad-Gita is the summary of Bhagavad-Gita, and it is full of conversation between Arjun and Krishna. In the 7th shlok of this chapter, Arjun surrendered to Krishna by saying, Shishyastaham Shadimam Tvam Prapannam, which means, O Krishna, I fully surrender to you, and I take you as my teacher, and I am your student, your Shishya. Then immediately, in shlok number 8, Arjun says, O Krishna, I am unable to handle this sorrow of losing my loved ones, and even the heavenly kingdom will not be able to give me peace and joy. This is when Krishna starts speaking, and he gives a detailed knowledge of body and soul and their qualities. Krishna said that body is temporary and keeps changing from one species to another, and the soul remains the same, as it is a part of Krishna, and as Krishna is permanent, so the individual soul also permanent. Thereafter Krishna explained the benefits of Buddhi Yoga or Bhakti Yoga, by which the person gets free from the endless cycle of birth and death. And the word Samadhi was introduced in shlok number 53. Sam means same or equal in both sorrow and happiness, and one who never gets disturbed in any situation. Arjun is going to speak after a long gap. He spoke in shlok number 7 and 8, and now he is speaking in shlok number 54. And in between, Krishna did not let Arjun speak at all. Now let's recite the shlok number 54. Arjun uvacha sthit pragyasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava sthitadhih kim prabhasheta kim asita brajeta kim sthit pragyasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava sthitadhih kim prabhasheta kim asita brajeta kim. In this shlok, Arjun wants to know from Krishna the symptoms of a sthit pragya person, or a person who is in samadhi. Then further Arjun asks Krishna that how does such a person talk, sit and walk? Now we might think that why is Arjun asking such childish questions from Krishna? But when we deeply understand the meaning of these questions, then we will understand that how important these questions are in our daily life. Arjun is saying, O Keshav. Keshav means the killer of the Keshi demon, and the other meaning is one who has beautiful hair, and Krishna has the most beautiful curly hair. So Arjuna is addressing Krishna as Keshav. Sthit pragyasya ka bhasha samadhisthasya Keshava. It means a person who has reached to the level of samadhi, sthit pragyasya, samadhi, or we can say a person who has attained the transcendental knowledge. So now Arjun wants to know what are the symptoms so that we can identify such a person. So Arjun is asking Krishna that how does such a person who is in samadhi talk, walk and sit? Normally we think that samadhi means a person with closed eyes and sitting in a secluded place. Now let's understand the meaning of samadhi from our Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada says that every individual has certain symptoms, like the rich man have a certain style of talking, sitting and walking. Similarly, politicians also have their typical way of dressing, talking and walking. And the person who is in samadhi, who is called Sthit Pragya. Sthit Pragya means a person fixed in Krishna consciousness. And the symptom of such a person is this, that he only speaks about Krishna and everything related to Krishna. Srila Prabhupada says in his explanations that a fool is discovered only when he speaks. Srila Prabhupada's every word is so true in our present day situation. Nowadays, almost every person dresses very smartly and seems to be well educated and cultured, but the reality is disclosed only when the person opens his mouth. Here in this shlok, when Arjuna asks Krishna that how a person talks who is in samadhi, by this he actually means that how does he respond internally and externally in a disturbed or a critical situation. In happy moments of life, everyone is happy. But in difficult times, when a person is quiet and peaceful, that person is truly in samadhi, or we can say that he is in Krishna consciousness, and he knows his true self, that he is not body and he is the spirit soul, and whatever is happening with the planning of Krishna, and it will not harm him at all. So he is in peace. The second question asked by Arjun is Kim Asit, which means that a person who is in Krishna consciousness, how does he sit? Srila Prabhupada explains that Arjun means that how a person in Krishna consciousness controls his sense organs from the sense objects, because it is very, very difficult. So Arjun wants to know, how does he control his sense organs from all the attractions of the sense objects in the material world? Now the last question by Arjun is this, that how a Krishna conscious person walks, which means he does not stop his sense organs and he moves everywhere. He interacts with everyone and he receives the sense objects also. But then how does he respond to it? How does he deal with it? In this shlok, Arjun has asked 4 questions to Krishna. The first one is, what are the symptoms of a Krishna conscious person? The second one is, how does he talk? The third one is, how does he sit? And lastly, how does he walk? Srila Prabhupada says that Arjun has asked these questions so that we can benefit from the answers of every question. Arjun need not know the answers because he is Gudakesh and he was only acting as an ignorant person to help us out so that in our life we get an idea about a Krishna conscious person. Now in the remaining shlokas of this chapter, Krishna will answer all the questions of Arjun. So it's going to be very, very interesting, and I'm sure you all are going to be with me to know the answers. Hare Krishna. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnavon ki jai. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. I bow down to Srila Prabhupada for giving us the most secretive knowledge of Bhagavad-Gita in such an interesting and understandable manner. I thank all my listeners who take out time to listen to the shlokas of Bhagavad-Gita. I request everyone to please write the comments, as it encourages me and enhances the understanding of others. Please do write your comments, and in case you have any questions, please do write. I will surely try to answer them. Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anant Koti Vaishnavon ki jai. Please do not forget to subscribe, like and share with others. Hare Krishna.